bear. Go ahead and say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. Can you say hi? Hi. Welcome to Cullen's Music Corner. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cullen's Music Corner. I'm Cullen the Great. Today we're going to be talking about another one of them Cullens classics. And we're going to be talking about Lynyrd Skynyrd and their song Gimme 3 Steps. This track is off of their debut album, pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, and it was a very difficult choice to make to try and figure out which song from Lynyrd Skynyrd I'm going to do because they have so many good songs. They're honestly one of my all-time favorite classic rock bands. I think that they made very, very good music in such a short amount of time up until that very tragic plane crash. And like on their debut album alone, there was only 8 songs on there, but you had tracks like Tuesday's Gone, you had Simple Man, you had Freebird, even Gimme 3 Steps on their debut album. And those are songs that like 95% of people have heard or know. There's songs in movies, TVs, commercials, radio, literally everywhere you go, you hear one of those 4 songs. I mean, everybody knows how dope, how badass the Freebird guitar solo is, thanks to Guitar Hero, you know what I'm saying? And this is just their debut album. And unfortunately, the original group only got to record 2 albums. And like if I were to list the entire catalog of music that the original band had recorded, I would say like 75% of the songs on there are like not just like good songs, but they were hit songs that kind of took over. Al Kooper was the producer of their original album, pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd, and he has commented since the very first day that they met at the Hell House and recorded that this is one of the most well-rehearsed bands. So they would show up to their studio sessions and one take it, get it perfectly. But then Ronnie Van Zant say, no, we're going to do it again. We're going to get it more perfect than perfect can be. And that's kind of the approach the band took to making this debut album. And I think that's why you have so many songs on there that are just incredible tracks that have stood the test of time and still get used today. The Hell House it was a little nickname they gave this kind of cabin in the woods. It was kind of in a swampy area, so it was real humid, real muggy, just kind of a gross feeling area. Like I said, in the woods in their hometown of or their home state of Florida, Jacksonville area. And they would go to this place, this Hell House, during the summer, and they would record their music. They would literally live there and record their music. And that's kind of where Al Kooper first saw the band and said, holy crap, like these guys are legit, they're the real deal, you know, they're coming to rehearsals like more prepared than the professionals do. And what's very unique about this initial album too is a lot of the songs that are on pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd were already a part of the band's live repertoire for some time. So they had been playing these songs, performing these songs for quite a while. They were an underground kind of garage band. Nobody really knew, you know, there's some rednecks from the South, and they're making, you know, kind of a different kind of rock and roll, more of a southern country kind of rock, and it differed from a lot of the stuff that was going on. Obviously, you had the British invasion with the Beatles, the Stones coming over, and that was more of a bluesy kind of rock and roll. And Lynyrd Skynyrd fixated on more of that southern country rock kind of rock and roll. And I think they really found a niche, and they were able to get to the nitty-gritty, the heart of America with their music. But anyways, a lot of the music was already on their live repertoire, so they were very well versed. They were very well prepared for when their time did come. And boy, did they capitalize on it. One thing that I thought was very unique about Gimme 3 Steps in particular is obviously the song starts off talking about Ronnie Van Zant. He's scudding a rug down at a place called a Jug with a girl named Linda Lou. That's actually something that really happened. Gimme 3 Steps is based off of a real-life experience that happened to Ronnie Van Zant. He was at a very well-known biker bar in Jacksonville, Florida called The Pastime. Not really sure what year, kind of chronologically how it happened, but he was at this bar and he was dancing with this girl, and next thing he knows, this biker comes pushing him around saying, "What are you doing dancing with my girl?" and pulled a gun on Ronnie Van Zant at this bar. And don't know how it ended, don't know what happened, but I do know the backstory behind this song is actually something that really did happen in real life. I think the song was very well put together. Everybody knows that iconic riff. You know, the lyrics of the song, they're very well written. I think Ronnie Van Zant was a very excellent lyricist. I don't think he gets enough credit. I know he gets a lot of credit, but I don't think he gets enough credit for the stuff that he did, the work that he made, and the art that the band came up with, because it was truly phenomenal for such a short amount of time. To be honest with you, and if that tragic plane crash never happened to Lynyrd Skynyrd, if Ronnie Van Zant did not lose his life in that accident, I really believe, truly, genuinely, that Lynyrd Skynyrd would have been as big, if not bigger, than the Beatles. And I know that that's a bold statement. I got goosebumps just saying that. But it's the fact that when you look at how much music that they made, their discography is maybe like 25 songs, 30 songs, and that's, you got to be really digging for that. But the fact that of those 25, of those 30 songs, where 90% of them are songs that people love, enjoy, and still get used today, should say something. It should say, imagine if their discography was like 60, 70, 80 tracks long, where they had so much more music that people could have heard. And yes, the band did continue on, and they're still kind of playing shows now. I believe Ronnie's brother, I'm not sure his name, I apologize, but I do believe Ronnie's brother kind of took the throne and really became the lead singer, the main guy of the band. But it wasn't the same without Ronnie Van Zant, without that attitude. Funny story, Lynyrd Skynyrd has a documentary out, kind of like a biopic of the band. Wasn't really as popular as, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody or even the Elton John flick, but it was a very, very good documentary. It was very educational, and it provided such an insight into these musicians' lives that you really wanted to be there with them at that time making this music. And in that documentary, they talked about when the band was first getting started, you know, they released pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd. They're kind of taking over. Like, they're coming up with the name for themselves. And the Rolling Stones had asked them to open up for them at a big show. And, I mean, that's about as big of an opportunity as you're going to get. And everybody knows the Rolling Stones logo is it's the tongue sticking out. That's iconic. It's been that for like 6 decades now. There is no changing that. So obviously everything to do with the Rolling Stones is a tongue sticking out. Well, during this performance, the stage was set up like a tongue. The back main set was, you know, the mouth, and then there was a long runway that was the tongue that went out into the crowd. And the band was specifically told before the show, do not walk on the tongue. That is Mick Jagger property. You do not walk on the Rolling Stones tongue. That is for the Rolling Stones. You guys stay in the back and perform. And after about a couple of songs, Mr. Ronnie Van Zant was not having it. So what did he do? He walked his happy ass onto that tongue, and he started dragging the band with him, literally pushing his guitarist as he's singing down the tongue, because he's saying, this is our opportunity, the Rolling Stones. I'm going to make a name for ourselves. And that's exactly what they did. Obviously, they never opened up for the Rolling Stones again, but eventually they were doing their own shows as big as the Rolling Stones. So just kind of a little insight into the band and how talented and how, you know, creative they were. They weren't just going to sit around and wait for their opportunity. They were going to make it happen. They were well-versed, well-rehearsed, made great music, and they knew it. That kind of just about does it for me and my Lynyrd Skynyrd review. I know it was more of a kind of rendezvous on the entire pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd album, just a little bit more insight into it. It's hard to kind of review classic songs like this because they're already pristine and perfect, and you can't really critique it any more than they've already been critiqued for the past 50 years. So I think this album and this song, Gimme 3 Steps, were very well put together. I think Lynyrd Skynyrd could have done more incredible and more amazing things than they already did had the unfortunate accident not happened. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out my videos. I really hope you're enjoying these Cullen classics. I really like listening to old music and kind of talking to you guys about it. Some of the stuff I grew up on. If you guys have any suggestions for music that maybe you grew up listening to, or songs that your parents would play when you were a kid, go ahead, throw them down in the comment section below. I'd love to see the upbringing that everybody around me had, and you never know, maybe we were rocking to the same stuff when we were the same age, because great minds think alike, right? Anyways, I'd appreciate it if you guys could click that like, click that subscribe button. While you're at it, you might as well follow me on all of my social medias. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram under @CullenTheGreat _. You can find me on Facebook under Cullen the Great. And of course, me and all of my music on your favorite streaming service under Cullen the Great. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and until next time, peace.